The following is a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. Hollywood Redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is Black Hollywood Live, the Black Tea Party, featuring weekly discussions on political news and current affairs. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood Redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, the Black Tea Party.
He definitely makes it fun. Do you hear my music?
Yeah, I think everyone hears it, right?
I'm like, did we hear it? Do we all hear it? Are we jamming? Am I jamming the air?
I'm hearing it.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Black Tea Party. How are you guys doing? I'm your host, Stacy Ike, and let me introduce my amazing co-host.
Mike. Hi, guys.
Mike never takes his introduction seriously. Why?
I don't know what to do as an intro. It's weird in comedy too. Whenever you get introduced, you're like, I'm that
yeah, it's
dude.
like a secondhand thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's always funny to me.
That is every time.
Yeah.
I like to throw it to him on purpose because I really want you to say your full name. Give us your,
I'm Michael Teemant. Hi,
there
guys.
There we go. That's what I want to see. Awesome. So we're missing a few of our favorite players today, but hopefully either one of them will be joining us later on, or we will see them next week. But they'll definitely be tweeting. So let's start with the first topic of agenda this week. Mr. Marshawn Lynch. Unfortunately, Seahawks lost, but who cares? Sorry, just kidding.
I was so happy with the Seahawks loss. So,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I actually really want them to win.
Boo.
No, really?
Boo, I hate their fans.
You hate their fans
so much. I love Marshawn. I hate Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Anyway, as a sports fan, it was great to watch Pete Carroll make the biggest mistake of all time.
He really did.
On second down. I can't believe he did that with the
so
clock.
embarrassing. Like, you really were supposed to win, but that's another story. So we're going to get into, you guys saw what happened with Marshawn during the week and how he reacted and treated the media. There was all this hype about, was he playing with the media? Was he being making a fool of them, kind of, or was he doing as he was supposed to, or was he supposed to be there answering questions?
Yeah.
And I would love to know what you thought about it, Michael.
Well, with Marshawn, because like I said, I love Marshawn because he's so entertaining to watch, and he really brings like some real good energy to the game, some fun young stuff, and like the thing. First of all, he started the protest because a couple weeks ago, he hates answering these questions. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't understand what he's supposed to, like, he said it 2 weeks ago. He goes, number one, there's a bunch of people on a football field that make that play possible. So to say that I'm the one who did it, no, offensive linemen have to create creases. All that technical stuff has to happen for him to be as good as he is.
Right.
So he doesn't believe in the whole, like, taking... He doesn't feel ownership. And secondly, he hates that the media, every time he speaks, they make fun of the way he talks. He's from Oakland.
Yeah.
And they make fun of him. And they'll call him uneducated, things like that. Why would he want to speak to them?
Right.
Would you want to speak to someone who just, every time you say something, they make fun of you?
Right.
So that was perfect.
Yeah.
They said, show up or you're going to get fined. He goes, I'm here so I don't get fined.
Yep. And I'm not a huge sports person, but I think Marshawn Lynch right now is like my absolute favorite person because I think it was so funny. I think it was exactly how you need to treat the media in a certain time like that. I think the media was extremely serious for no reason. I also made fun of how there's somebody in the audience that was like, Marshawn, why do you insist on being a jerk? And I was like,
the best.
I was like, what a stupid... Is that a question?
No,
like,
that's
what are you
the media.
Exactly.
That's the media pretending there's so much. First of all, it's a football game.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
and I'm a huge football fan.
Right.
If anybody knows me, I'm gigantic football fan.
Right.
I have a podcast I was doing that's all football.
Right.
So it's a game. And why do you want someone answer? First of all, Richard Sherman will talk for hours.
Right.
He will answer every question the media could possibly have about life and the meaning of everything,
right.
probably. So why are you stuck on Marshawn other than you want to get an answer out of him because he doesn't want to give it to you?
Exactly. There's people on the sidelines saying like, hey, so Marshawn, like, let's talk about your charity. And he's like, you want to talk about my charity? Come meet me at my charity and we'll talk then.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so cool and bold of him because it is true. You guys just want to be here to make a mockery of me. And and now that you've said, that they do make fun of him and things like that, that really goes to show that he was like over it. And I thought that was a really cool way to handle it.
I thought it was great. The guy who makes $40 million a year working for the NFL named Roger Goodell opted out of his media day on Super Bowl Sunday.
Right.
No fines. Hi, that's crazy because Marshawn Lynch showed up at least.
Exactly.
Even though he said, I'm here so I don't get fined, they still tried to fine him.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure the union's going to overturn that. But it's just ridiculous.
But what do you want to
so
fine
dumb.
him for? Like, what is the fine? Because I don't want to
technically,
talk? Like, you can't
it's
force
like a
me to talk.
contractual thing where they're supposed to show up to press conferences if the NFL wants them to. He's a big guy in the league. So they want to hear him talk because to them it makes him look good. And then he turns it around on him and they hate it. They hate that he played the game. He did exactly what they asked him.
Exactly.
Hey, you have to be here for 4 minutes and 30 seconds. He had a timer on his phone. He answered they didn't say what he had to answer.
Exactly.
They didn't say that.
Exactly. And now, so it's like, what would the fine be now? If they even tried, don't you think that's something that could get thrown out or no?
Well, it's... I don't know. It's all union stuff, so that's kind of the gray area. I don't know about how their union works, but because I don't know what the contractual obligation really is and if it's in the contract. If it is, I mean, I don't know. He'll have to figure that out when he gets there. But why do you want someone who doesn't want to speak to speak?
Exactly.
That's what I don't understand.
Exactly. It's like he doesn't want to be there, so you're forcing him anyway. It's very stupid. And that's why you got the result that you got.
Hey, you're in this uncomfortable situation that you don't want to be in, and we make fun of you all the time. Please give us more to make fun of you.
Exactly.
Why would you want to do that?
Exactly. Very
But he did
true.
great in the Skittles press conference. That was great.
That was
good job,
awesome.
Marsh. Dude, he was on a tear last week.
I honestly enjoyed. I had a lot of fun last week. But
Him and Gronk playing Mortal Kombat was great.
doing them, I was like, what else? I honestly was forgetting about the football game and just concerned about that. But anyway,
Yeah.
So then we go to the fact that he is a black athlete and trying to figure out if there is another layer of, hey, we're trying to get this out of this specific athlete because he does have, he represents, he's supposed to be some kind of role model, or do you think that's
No.
how they were looking at it? No?
Well, they want to push that on him, and he doesn't want it.
Exactly.
So why are you?
I agree.
I don't understand this thing, and it's happened. I actually was reading an article about this. About Michael Jordan was when we really started pushing the athletes are role models, and it was all a marketing campaign.
Mm-hmm.
That was Gatorade and Nike doing that.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Them doing it.
Yeah. So, but before that, we had plenty of bad examples for athletes. You had Paul Hornick, who was an alcoholic who really drove the limits of his liver. Like, he's in a Hall of Fame of that. Babe Ruth was a terrible person on a lot of levels.
Yeah.
Cheated on his wife. He drank like a fish. He smoked. But parents, for some reason, now you're an athlete, so we're paying you a lot of money, therefore you have to be a role model. No, I don't.
Yes.
I'm just going to lose sponsorships if I don't.
Yeah.
And so far, he's winning in sponsorships. So.
Yes, right now. And I hope he still wins, but it is very interesting because, you have the LeBrons or the Dwaynes in their field, and they're a huge role model. And
They want to be role models.
those two specifically? Or just...
I think so.
I mean, that's fine, but they want to be because you think we made them, or do you think there's some part of them that isn't interested?
I think there's plenty, like... I'm going to use this example, and I love Meta World Peace. So let me preface with that.
Right, okay.
Meta's had his problems in the past, as we all know.
Problems, Mike.
Yeah. So,
Mike.
but and in the beginning, they kept pushing him toward being this role model, and then when he'd fail, then they'd start screaming at him for being a bad role model, and then he finally kind of just went off the edge and did what he does. Turns out he's a pretty good role model now.
Yeah.
But you can't force that on people.
Right.
If you're telling your kids this guy should be a role model, you're being a bad parent in my eyes.
No, I wouldn't say you're being a bad parent. Everyone wants somebody to look up to, and sometimes it comes. Yes, it's not. I don't want it to be like, oh, this person makes $40 million, so they're a person looked up to. It's more like this person pursued their dream. This person's out in the field. This person's in the public eye. They decided to entertain, and they're good at it. I think it's that, and it's very humanistic. It's very.
But just because you're talented in something doesn't mean you're great at everything in life
no,
either.
Very
Think
true.
of
Very
how
true.
many troubled artists.
Oh my
If
gosh.
I want to go down the list of comics, it's endless.
Yeah.
How many comics were drug addicts, alcoholics, just all kinds of moral ambiguous stuff.
Right.
Where you don't know exactly what would be going on. Like, we know these things about them. You should teach your kids, hey, this guy, like Richard Pryor, who's an amazing comic, one of the greatest that's ever lived. Mm-hmm. He also had his demons.
Yeah.
And he had to deal with those things. And we need to put things in perspective for kids instead of building these guys up to be gods who can't live up to the expectation.
I feel bad, but I do have a question from Bryce. What's up, Bryce? How are you? Shout out from us. Hey.
What's up, Bryce?
So he had a question that said, is the NFL the new slavery? What do you think about that?
It's when it comes to sport, that's always a thing with sports in general. Are these like, I mean, if you look at baseball, it used to be heavily African American at one point too, and then it moved to heavily Latino, just as interest of sports. Sports and entertainment are always going to be what poor people gravitate to when other options aren't available.
I don't get it though. Why?
Because it's the thing that if you have a talent in that, that's all that matters, and you can make it. There's guys from the Dominican who are illiterate, who are making millions of dollars in MLB. They never had an education. They didn't have a chance for one. But if they could swing a bat, they could get to America. And I'm sure many of actually the pitcher from the Mets, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He had a charity where he taught a lot of kids down in the Dominican where literacy, because the schools are really bad. Not everybody sends their kids to schools, things like that. So, like literacy programs. So that's what happens. It's happened throughout history.
So interesting. Like, I mean, I always notice it now. Like, I mean, right now we're in Grammy season, and it's this huge thing.
Yeah.
There's several events leading up to it. There's several things after it. It's like, we're putting a lot of money into a one night of glorifying entertainers, which is great. Like, they should be, have their
That's what
moment.
America
But
does.
it's very overwhelming to the point that we're not even separating. You're right. Like, we're not separating the entertainment from the person, or we think that's like what it is. That's the aspiration, to make sure you make it. It's daunting. And for us who are the media and have to criticize it sometimes, and then for those who are in it and are criticized, it's, I don't know, it's like a huge circle.
I think I think America has had a problem with letting PR take over when it comes to how we look at people. And that's a huge problem. We don't even hear from actors and actresses when things are going on in their lives with things. We hear from their PR person about this.
Yeah.
They quit this film, but we don't even get it. We get it. Their PR person sent this statement that they're dropping out of the film for X, Y, and Z.
Right.
We don't. So what else are we going to get? All we get is this polished look. Then when Warren Sapp gets picked up for soliciting prostitution, that was a hard one for me. I love Warren Sapp.
That was not good. That was not good.
All of a sudden, we're going, wait, this is Warren Sapp. He's the friendly guy from Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
And in the NFL, he does all the funny things on the NFL Network. What are you going to do when he gets picked up with a prostitute?
I don't know. It sucks. I mean, I like to know and understand and be okay with the fact that people make mistakes, but it is hard. Like, even for that, you just said that was very hard for you to, like, accept and understand, and it is hard when you see your, people you have up here fall on the top, which I don't know why they're up there, but you don't
Bill
have
Cosby.
to put them up there. Yeah,
That's
my gosh.
the perfect example
you
of,
don't
like,
have to put them up there.
Yeah, he's Dr. Huxtable to my generation especially.
Right.
Like, I mean, you're in my generation.
I am in your generation. Why are you trying to make me look like I'm a child? No, I'm kidding.
But he's the perfect example of someone we looked up to because of this persona he's built on television. It's all on television. What we saw in his act. We don't
know him.
Yeah, we don't know him.
We don't know him. That's very true.
And a lot of people are denying the allegation. And I'm not any of the allegations. I'm on the side of the women. But either way, people are having a problem just because he's Bill Cosby.
Absolutely.
No other reason.
Absolutely.
Because he's a hero.
I agree.
And if he falls, what is that? Our heroes are fallible.
We have no one to look for.
Yeah.
Anyway, look to Jesus, people. Okay. So with that said, moving to this next topic that I'm very, very interested in. You guys know I've had some passion about this before. Colleges underreporting sexual assault. And there was a report that came out. Which
tragedy.
I really hated the way the report started because it said, report just came out. Universities are underreporting. I'm like, it didn't just come out. I graduated how long ago? Like, come on. Like, this is something that you know without even going to college.
Is it the Mother Jones article?
This
just out
was
of curiosity.
the MSNBC one.
Oh, okay. Mother Jones did one. It's finally kind of official. They had to release, at least if it's the same one I read this week. They finally released those held stats showing how unreported it is.
Wow, yeah.
So some of these things went into forums and stuff, but weren't reported as rape, and those forums were brought out in some of the cases.
And that's what I'm like, what do we do?
Do you know what we did? We made public education. We made education a business, and now these universities don't want to report because they don't want to see the numbers go down.
But it's like, you didn't. The thing I don't understand is what I do understand first.
Yeah.
I understand that you feel like you need a reputation at your school, blah blah blah. You want to make sure it looks a good certain way, and whatever that case is. But if somebody was raped on campus and you did not rape them, why would you not want to report that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get who are you protecting? They're just yourself. Like, that's so selfish to me. It makes no sense.
No. Well, some of it is that. At some campuses, what they're saying is the forms, the people filling out the forms aren't reporting them as sexual assaults to keep the numbers down.
Right.
So they'll report it as just an assault. They'll fudge some stats sometimes.
So what people? Are we talking about the women? Or are we
we're talking about the people filling out paperwork in these police departments.
That's what I thought.
And it's all in keeping those stats down so parents don't see the stats and then go, well, that looks like a dangerous school.
Yeah.
So they're all just lying. And this is a huge, 1 in 5 women. 1 in 4. I think it was 1 in 4. Either one is super sad.
It's way too. I mean, if you go to a school of 30,000 people, you're telling me that. Stop, hold on, I can't do math. I'm like, let me not do the math. I'm a host, not a mathematician. But you're telling me that there's that much of a percentage of people that will be assaulted, and you're not gonna like work to figure that out? Or, I mean, what's the security like at these schools? I remember in college, I love my college, and they did make sure to have certain type of securities. But if you tell me that I'm supposed to press a button and in a certain situation, and it takes 5 minutes for a cop to come there, by then, like, you know what I mean? I've never been in a situation so tragic, but I don't know how. I think the protection needs to go up. I think you need to have more security, or whatever the case is. Like,
well, it comes from but that's not even really the problem. Security, because I think people feel more safe to sexually assault and stuff in these cases because they know it's going underreported, and they know it's not. So it's almost driving. I don't want to say an incentive. Yeah. But they had that one study where 1 in 3 guys said if you change the wording enough, they would say, I'd essentially commit sexual assault just by changing. Would you get her drunk enough, things like that? So like, especially young guys, they're so bad with the pressure put on them to get laid and stuff, and then. Not that that's a. Let me be very clear. I'm just listening. That is not a excuse.
Yes. I see where you're coming from. I didn't shut you down because I see where you're coming from. Yeah. And I'm reading. Thank you so much, Bryce, for tweeting us and during the show. He's saying that as an RA, we were encouraged not to call 911 if there was an emergency.
That's sad.
Which. What the heck? Tweet me what school you went to. Like, excuse me. And then he also mentioned, he said if there was not an emergency, and he said that there was a lot of things that were covered up.
Suicide stats is another one that.
Yeah, he said rape, suicide, murder, and muggings.
Yeah.
That's
UNLV
insane.
used to try and redistrict what they considered the UNLV area because that was one of the most violent areas in all of Las Vegas. So over near Maryland Parkway, they tried to like skew the stat or like what they considered UNLV just to skew those stats down of like, and it's really dangerous right outside. It's a little better the last few years from what I understand. But when I lived there, I lived right behind Thomas and Mack, and it was not the nicest area. Once you got on campus, it was great. And also, I'm saying that as a big dude walking around campus, I felt safe. I don't know how women feel in this situation, and especially, I can't imagine.
Not good, Mike.
I can't imagine going to a school and then finding out you live just off campus, and your parents thought they were sending you to this safe school. Guess what? You're in Maryland Parkway.
Yeah, and it's not.
Keep your pepper spray close.
Seriously, and I think, I don't know. A lot of some of the topics that we talk about today, I relate them to like a Law and Order episode or something, and I immediately saw that we were going to talk about that, and I was like, okay, how many Law and Order episodes have I watched about a school that has, they went into detail about the reasons it was unreported, and you're hearing professors say stuff like, oh, I didn't know, or I wanted to protect the student, or I was, that they basically turn the other cheek, and I just don't understand.
Well, look at Penn State. Look what Penn State
did. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, great example.
Great example. Yeah, and they almost, and when you look back, and what they did was wrong by keeping Sandusky around, but I see the psychology into why thinking that was a good idea. Mm-hmm. Like I understand the making sure he doesn't trying to keep him in so he doesn't go hurt other kids at other schools and stuff. Like that's terrible.
And you
terrible
couldn't
thinking.
just
But
fire and get rid of it.
because that would admit that there was a coach, staff member who molested children.
Yeah.
That's what that would bring
And
forward.
they can't admit that because
of all the moms across the country who root for Penn State and the Nittany Lions and don't want anything wrong to be wrong with Joe Pa.
There was one idiotic person. It's not the entire school.
No, but I mean, I feel people think it matters. And the way they looked at it is it matters. And they did something worse because they didn't want the consequence of what was then.
Yeah, and now it just went to like a whole nother...
Oh, but now it doesn't matter. They got their scholarships back.
I mean,
it was like it never
I just
happened.
mean in terms of like...
Putting up Joe Pa's...
Wow, that's true too.
Look how much they don't care.
I know.
They're putting a statue back up. They tore it down like Saddam Hussein, and they're putting it right back up.
I'm taking a deep breath on that. That's ridiculous.
Can you imagine going back to Iraq and them putting up Saddam Hussein again? Can you imagine that giant statue going back up?
I don't think I can't imagine going there, to be honest, right now. But that's another story. Okay, so we want to move on to the Bobbi Kristina situation and what's going on with her and her family. I've kind of refrained from talking about her this week because I just, just out of respect for the whole situation. There's always there's memes, there's jokes, there's stupid stuff about. And then there's the other side that's like really sad because it's very eerie
this
and
is your
weird.
Expertise because I have no idea really who she was.
Okay, so let me.
I knew she was the daughter of Whitney Houston from the name when I clicked it, and then she was found in a bathtub, and now they think
exact same way her mom was found.
Yeah,
and she's on life support right now, and it's just a really tragic situation. Her mom passed away on February 11th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was sometime this month.
Yeah, and we're a couple days away from that date, and it's really sad. And Bobby Brown's birthday was yesterday, so it's just a weird month, And I don't know. I've seen a lot of stuff in the media about it, and. A lot of things saying like, this is eerie, this is crazy. She's only 21, and just to know, everyone always says, okay.
Is she famous herself for doing something or just being?
I mean, I'm going to say not in my personal opinion, but somebody will probably say yes.
Like, but I mean, did she, I know she was recording an album,
yeah,
she said.
She sings, I know that.
That's
but
not released though.
No, I don't think it is. And I don't know if she's released one before that. Maybe your trusty iPod can tell us, but I don't know if she's released an album before that. I mean, I don't have it on my iPod, if that's what you're asking.
So it's kind of weird to me, and I mean, no, like it's a really sad situation. It's kind of odd to me that like celebrities' kids are like go to the hospital or something, and we find it like Sylvester Stallone's kid died. That was sad.
Yeah.
But like, I felt like am I feel like such a jerk. Like maybe I was supposed to know more about them or something.
I think it just depends. I don't necessarily
feel like
think
such
that's
a
true.
jerk right now.
No, I don't think that's necessarily true. I mean, if you happen to listen to her music or something, then it's fine. But it's like saying, I'm trying to think of somebody that actually I wouldn't know anything about. I don't know. I mean, it's just because she's associated with Whitney Houston, it's a huge deal, and it is a very sad situation.
It was her only daughter too.
Yes.
So.
And a love child between those two, and that's what it is. She is obviously a beautiful, important person, but to the media, she's an extra important person because of someone that was so important. You know what I mean? If we find out that Michael Jackson's kids are going through some stuff, we're talking about it. So I think it's the same type of situation.
I guess.
Yeah, but I do feel sad, and I want to send my condolences out to the family. And
yes.
I don't know. It's a
tough.
really tough situation, and I don't know. I feel like everyone involved and putting them in prayers because it's pretty crazy.
So I saw conflicting reports. Is she on life support or not?
She is on life support.
Because I saw literally an hour apart from each other.
Right.
They took her off life support. Then those reports are false. And then another report an hour later saying, no, she's definitely off life support.
Yeah. No, I think all the reports are ridiculous. Like, I'm like, why don't report it till you know? Just relax. Like, no one, just relax. So, yeah,
everyone wants to be the first to report that someone's dead.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's not.
I don't want to be part of that media.
I don't want to be the first person to report someone's dead. Like, I mean, I cannot tell you how many people have already put together a show for her memorial. It's very sad. I had a lot of friends tell me that their different outlets are doing that. And I'm like, that's tough. Like, why? Why are you already ready? It's sad because there are some parts of it that don't look the best, but it's like you don't even believe miracles. I don't know. I just think it's a little much. But yeah, from what I know, or from what I've read and tried to decipher, she is on life support, but no, they haven't pulled the plug, is what I'm hearing. Okay. There was another report that said that everyone's gathering together for her loss, but I'm like, I don't know what's happening with that. So that's all. I'm not going to speak too much about it because I don't want to be false.
Because I only heard one person arguing about it, and it had to do with the pull the plug issue. That was the one thing I saw in the articles. Right. Is like people are upset because it's her only daughter, so they should keep her alive as long as possible. Right. Then conflicting reports whether if she has brain activity or not. I don't know. Oh, she does. I heard that she does have brain activity, or I heard. I read both though. That's the thing. Like I can't find a solid.
Everyone's crazy and no one knows what they're talking about.
It feels like everyone. Like I was like, okay, I don't know this story.
Yes.
I don't care about entertainment news, so I'm usually behind on it.
Right.
So like, oh, okay, the story broke, and then every story seems to conflict the other story, and I'm like, okay, so what are the set of facts here? Like,
I don't think, honestly, the only facts is that we found her in the bathroom and that she was in the hospital. That's the only thing I'm for sure about.
And then I guess her boyfriend's being investigated for murder.
No, for what?
Yeah. That was one of the things I read. I was like,
I heard
whoa.
they were never married. There was this whole thing
or
where they used to be married.
Whatever,
yeah, they were
like
supposed to be. I don't know what's happening, and I think it's a lot going on. The only thing that's important is the family together. All this other stuff is not, I don't think, everyone's business, but,
yeah,
that's that. If we were going to move right along, I really am interested in this next topic. Do you want to introduce this next topic?
Oh, the relationships?
The relationships.
Yeah, well, it turns out a lot of people
don't like to just be with one person.
Silicon Valley. Yeah, most people. It's our biology. I first read this like a week and a half ago, and it was just interesting to me because up in Silicon Valley, there's a lot of people that work for major corporations and stuff who have open side booze.
And it's not just open.
That's my attempt at not being white.
That's a beautiful way to say that. Open side boobs. I love that. Open side boobs. Oh my God. That was better than the side chick. I like it. I like it a lot. I love it. Okay, keep going.
But so they're doing it, and I guess some people care, and I don't understand. I've never understood. I'm not a person that would want to be in a relationship with multiple people, but I don't see why it's a big deal. But
well, I think it's because it's not necessarily the norm. So people want to not just attack it, but figure it out, research it, know what's going on, interview people about it. I also saw the story. I actually saw it only this past week we were in, and CNN did a report on it. I'm not sure. I don't remember if they're from Silicon Valley, but there was a woman who was in a relationship with 4 people.
Yeah.
But she was also engaged to one of them, and I'm like, I personally don't know what you're talking about, but okay. Yeah. So she, described it and talked a little bit about the situation or whatever and how they're making it work. And I actually have met somebody who was in a relationship with 2 guys, and they were also in a relationship. And so just kind of learning and talking to them. I met her and him first.
Yeah.
And then he walks off, and the other guy came over, and she was like, "This is my other boyfriend." And when she said other boyfriend, I had to sit down. I was like, I don't know what's going on. So she's like, yeah, so they were dating. We
also are in L.A., so.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't in L.A. This was in Houston, Texas.
Really?
Yes.
Look at that.
Isn't that crazy?
Texas getting progressive.
And they getting down. Like, I really was shocked. I really was. Yeah, Texas isn't the place to necessarily see a story like that. But no, that was she said that they were in a relationship and they asked her to be a part of it. They really both liked her. And then 3 of them are in a relationship. So.
It seems beautiful. I don't understand why it matters.
Does it?
Yeah.
It seems really complicated.
This is where I'm at. I'm at if any group of people want to love each other and make it work, and the more the merrier. It's fine.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I don't understand. If that's what you want to do and you're not hurting anybody, who cares?
Well, that's true. Okay, so if your girl wants to be in a relationship with another girl but doesn't want to lose you, what would you do?
Me, I'm a monogamous person. I just want to be with one person.
So you're going to be like,
I'll just say no. But that's okay. If that broke it up, that's not meant to be.
Okay.
I'm not going to stress it. Even though I'm an atheist, I was raised Mormon with like, you marry someone for the rest of your life and stuff. And I'm sure that had an imprint on me. I had an ex-girl who was kind of okay with, hey, if you wanted to, and I'm like, Okay,
so Bryce, he's tuning in. He just said open relationships are very common in the day communities, sometimes monogamy is seen as heteronormative.
I've heard that before.
I've heard that too. Very interesting point. Yeah, no, it's not my cup of tea.
Before monogamy, it was
Right.
like the Greeks, the
Poly
Romans.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was just sex. It wasn't. The reason that came was not even because of religion. It came because of birthrights.
Right, and laws and whatnot.
Historically, you just didn't want to give all your stuff to someone who wasn't your kid.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Right.
I mean, and then St. Augustine came in and said, no more for anything that's fun.
Let's fix this. And then
Got rid of the Catholic Church brothels, and here we are. And then that's the norm. But that's not really the norm if you look at history and you look at most cultures.
Well, the thing is, the norm shifts every couple of. I don't know if not years, decades maybe. I don't know.
Sure.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
I feel like it's the norm now. I'm not going to tell a 10-year-old, hey, do you remember when we were all poly checking each other out? She's not going to understand what I'm saying. Even me, I'm not going to. I was raised Christian. I was raised, yes, you are in a very, a monogamous relationship. That's really the only person. And that's it. And that definitely had an imprint on me because I don't really think I could be in a relationship with 5 people. I don't know how the girl balances. I'm like, there's only 24 hours in a day. I don't know how she does it.
I don't know. I know a dude who kind of does the same thing. I think it's more like he's just not a monogamous dude, and he gets with girls, and they're not dating.
You're talking about like a
No.
like
he has like a couple girlfriends that like
they don't know about each
yeah,
other.
they know about each other. And
Shut up.
It always gets to a point where they're not cool with it, and he goes, "Okay, then we gotta end this." And he moves on. But that's his normal life. Like, what's wrong with that? If that's
a lot of work.
He's open. No, he just, hey, I'm going to this concert. You can't make it? Hey, do you want to go to the concert? Who cares?
Wow.
I think that's the normal, and we've made that unnormal.
I don't think so.
I totally think so.
But you would have to have more than one friend to tell me that that's happening too.
I have a couple friends.
Okay, so like more than 15?
I'd say that I know of. I can name 4 or 5 off the top of my head.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, like you said, we are in LA, so maybe I'll give you that.
That's part of it.
That could be part of it.
Yeah, I just know I'm also a comic. I know some people. Like, I just know people. One of my first, okay, this is just off topic. One of my first open mics I ever did was at a swingers club in Vegas.
Interesting.
And people are having sex in the corner while you're trying to tell jokes. So, like, you get in stand up, you move on.
Very distracting for me.
It was quite distracting,
like,
and you weren't allowed to comment on it because that's rude.
But you're a comic. You weren't allowed.
They would kick us off stage.
Really?
Well, the guy running it. Yeah.
Wow. That is very interesting.
Well, they were willing to let us do it, but they're like, people in here are gonna have sex and you can't say shit about it. Okay, that's our one rule. All right, well.
You still gonna pay me? All right, cool. Anything else you want to bring up about news this week?
News this week specifically. I like this. Let me bring it up real quick. There's a little feud going on, and it got covered on the Daily Show a little bit between a congressman in Florida named Harrison. And I'm trying to get my iPad up and ready.
Okay.
I don't think we get the So this guy is just wreaking havoc on Texas and yelling at them. I know you're a Texan, so this is going to be really funny for me.
People.
So Representative Elsie Hastings says old Texas dildo law shows the state is crazy. All he's been doing is hammering Texas. This is my favorite story of the week.
Wow.
He's saying that it's a crazy state, and he's citing an old dildo law to do it. One of the cities has a law that says women can only have 6 dildos and the certain size of things. So he pointed out this law, and if that ain't crazy, I don't know what is. And then, so one of the guys from Texas.
He's bold.
Oh, yeah.
He's bold.
One Texas, let me see if I can get this quote correctly. Hastings called Texas crazy state during a committee hearing on the Affordable Care Act, causing Representative Michael Burgess to demand an apology. And his quote back was, he goes, "You can wait for that apology till hell freezes over in Congress." So, Representative Hastings, thank you for making my week.
He did.
I would love for him to be on the show. We need more of that in politics in general.
He was very honest with what he had to say. My
He
gosh.
was beyond
Not
honest.
that, yeah, I would say more brutal, but wow.
That's what have you ever seen Parliament in Britain?
Yes.
There's a lot of screaming and swear words.
You're right. It is very honest. You're right. Yes, I agree with that.
You want to watch Parliament, not C-SPAN. C-SPAN sucks. They're all proper. And in Britain, they're calling each other effing idiots. Like, it's great.
But for here, do you think we could handle it with us? I don't think we could handle it.
I think a lot of America's issues comes from the fact nobody will admit what's wrong. And nobody will come out. Everyone's trying to be proper. And at a certain point, you just have to go, no. This is screwed up. That's dumb.
Yeah.
And like, now I can't remember his name. There was another congressperson earlier last week, and he's a Republican, anti-abortion, and was talking about how we need to support birth control and stuff, and said, if you don't believe that, then you're not really pro-life. And like, and you need guys calling these things out. No one was going to call anybody out. And this guy's coming out saying, why are we listening to these guys? Look what they have on their books. Grasping at straws slightly. But he's bringing Texas to the forefront. And they're going, back up your stances.
Yeah.
For once, let me hear you say it out loud to me. Go. And he's not backing down. And I want more Congress people like that.
So this is where you're going to shout it out to them. Congress. Yeah, I'm like, Congress.
Get your shit together. That's not going to happen. That is wishful thinking at the highest degree.
Please, Congress, if you could please. No, I like Mike's better. Wow, I did not know about that. That is very interesting. And I'm like, oh, now I feel like I have to check in with Texas and be like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing?
Texas.
Don't even do it right now. We're not doing it. We're not doing it.
To be fair, what sucks is Florida called out Texas.
Yes.
And Florida. If you follow me on Facebook, my love of Florida is very distant. I want to keep my distance, but I love it so much. You just Google Florida man, and you will get just hours of great stories. Yeah. And Florida will stop making fun of you. You got to stop screwing up. That's all you got to do.
You've given us a year of television. I just want you to know. I mean, for me personally, like being on this show has been a year of Florida. My goodness.
Right? Zimmerman.
Like
everything.
It can go on. Bryce actually said another comment. He said, "Don't contend on the people having sex in the back. That's rude. LOL." Oh, okay. He was basically making fun of the fact that you did comic. Anyway, you're a trooper. I think that's what Bryce was trying to say. With that said,
sorry, people in the back. My bad.
Right. I mean, you didn't call them out personally. It's fine. With that said, did you want
Gary and Marcy? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what their names.
Oh my gosh, how hilarious would that be if you actually knew their names? I'd be very uncomfortable with that.
Put a Craigslist misconnections.
Oh my god.
I was the comic on stage. You were the two people having sex in the back. All right, I'm gonna get in trouble after this, I feel. Okay, you can catch me.
Edit that part out.
February, so Sunday I'll be at the Ice House at 7 p.m.
Yes.
$7.50 for tickets. The 17th at Flappers Comedy Club. And then Teemant.com for everything else.
I love it. You guys heard it here. You guys can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at OneTakeStace. Also, I'm here doing AfterBuzz on Thursdays for How to Get Away with Murder and Suits, and Blackish on Wednesdays. Alrighty, so we will see you next week. Thanks so much, you guys.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
And that's good because
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.